Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen Weekly News Update, where we quickly check up on what's happened over the last week in Star Citizen, roadmap updates, Star Citizen official videos, and posts this time for the week ending the 28th of June 2020. Unfortunately, we are still waiting on the first wave of the PTU for Star Citizen Alpha 3.10.0, which is currently still in EVOCATI. I was expecting it to be out by now, so apologies for anyone that I overhyped that would already be out. On the roadmap, more of the features for 3.10 went into polishing, with just the bartender and targeting yet to be complete. Without breaking my NDA, Cloud Imperium are focused on getting the remainder of some of the blockers cleared that will then see the patch go out to first wave. I believe that they are trying to get better optics for stability and accessibility this time around. We know that the live build is planned sometime in July, and I would expect that Cloud Imperium want to get that done as early as possible. First wave PTU, however, will just be going out to EVOCATI subscribers and people that are concierge. In the RSI newsletter, Hold the Line, we had a sneak peek at some of the new advanced crypto keys that will be available from the factory line shop on New Babbage in 3.10. These should be very effective at hacking into things like hacking down your criminal rating and that sort of stuff very quickly and effectively, but might have quite a high price tag. So this week's Inside Star Citizen 3.10 approaches looked at various features coming with the new patch, with a focus on flight and combat improvements. Ships will fly a bit more like planes in atmosphere in 3.10. The atmospheric and general flight model has a significant change in 3.10. They're planning for ship races in atmosphere in the future as well. Jerk, aerodynamics and thrust efficiency all play a major part in the changes. Wind and weather will really affect your ship now. Obviously, the smaller and lighter it is, the more it will be affected by that. There is a load of improvements for combat as well, better targeting that also tells you when you're being targeted as well, and pin target cycling, so you can pin multiple targets. There's fixed weapon and turret assists, which will help you hit your targets without auto gimbal. It's literally for fixed weapons. Also, targets will be shared with others on your ship as well, so you can coordinate attacks. Moving above SCM speeds will cause your gimbals to track slower and locking to take a longer time as well. There are loads more iterations and improvements to be made for beyond 3.10 and based on players' feedback from 3.10, so it's by no means finished their flight and combat models yet. There's still a long way to go. They also talked about some of the 3.10 other features that are coming out with the patch, and I wanted to highlight a couple of these that are not talked about too much and we have a bit more information on. So delivery missions, they're getting a bit of an overhaul. They're much more in depth now in 3.10, and you're going to be able to purchase paints and ship customizations from shops in places like Dumpers Depot. They're also going to be adding some more of the flyable ships to shops in-game, so you can purchase them in-game, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. Calling All Devs was focused on PvP. Star Citizen's persistent universe will cater for players that want a PvE or PvP experience, or a mixture of the two, though you are unlikely to ever be 100% safe from PvP. There are security forces and laws to prevent RDM and griefing, so just people randomly trying to attack you, whatever. There's going to be big penalties, and you're going to be relatively safe in the safer systems and in safe areas. Like on space stations and that sort of stuff, where there are security forces. There are systems like Pyro that will very much be focused on PvP, or at least not have much security or protections like the Stanton system does, though even Stanton has areas that will be much more PvP focused, so there aren't sort of like these protections everywhere, and when their comma rays go down, for example, then you're not going to be as protected because security might not be able to come and help you there, and also crimes won't be detected. In the future, you will be able to loot each other. Equipment and loadouts are also going to be incredibly important for PvP and general combat. You won't be able to pilot ships in heavier armors. Physical inventory means that you will only be able to carry a limited amount of gear, and Theatres of War has also made significant progress, and they've made loads of changes and improvements based on feedback, along with heavily optimizing performance apparently, and we should see some more Theatres of War tests after 3.10 goes live. The subscriber Jump Point magazine looked at the Invictus launch week, so like a little retrospective of that. They looked at the G12 rover, which apparently has all of its systems that it needs to be put in game now. It just needs to be fully built out, but we don't know when that's going to be. There was some interesting background and lore on the Idris, suggesting that you might be able to outfit them for many purposes, at least in lore. There are Idris that help scan down salvage. There were ones that are used for freight. There's an armoured luxury one if you're a mad millionaire. The stats are currently showing 28 crew, which makes sense for having all the stations and turrets covered for the Idris, but we don't know the real optimal crew sizes for these larger ships until all the gameplay loops and mechanics are in-game properly, like repair, that sort of stuff, because how often does the ship need to be repaired and maintained, especially during combat? What's the optimum crew size, that sort of stuff? How much sort of like crew are going to be supported by the life support systems on a ship? Work on the Idris, Javelin and F8 heavy fighter and more have all been making progress behind the scenes, and obviously the work they did for that for Invictus launch week and that event, that is going to be used in other areas of the game. Nothing's been lost there. They had to do some basic work for those ships to get them working beyond the Squadron 42 needs, enabling them to be used by NPCs in the persistent universe. They had to create some simple capital ship AI behaviors. The audio team actually voiced the Brevet Convention Center audio themselves because of lockdown they couldn't get the actors they needed to very easily. So we should be seeing a load of that stuff again in the future. There were some little pieces on the Lightning Bolt Company, which are the company in 3.10 that make the new sniper and pistol for the Electron weapons. Apparently security forces may well use these regularly in the future as well, because they sort of like do a bit of an area effect and a little bit of stun, as well as can be used pretty lethally. The sub-flare for July may be special Deadeye versions of those new Electron sniper and pistol weapons. They also confirmed during the week that they're still working on their Squadron 42 update video, and it will be aired as soon as it's ready. And that's it for this week. I'm waiting on 3.10 to go to First Wave PTU, and I suspect that a lot of you are as well. As soon as it does go to First Wave PTU, we'll be able to talk about it and do a load of analysis and gameplay with it, and look at all the individual features and all that sort of stuff. A huge backlog of sort of content is now building up on my channel while I'm waiting for that to go out. I think we're all anxious to try it out. Are you excited for 3.10 and the flight model changes, or are you worried that it's going to have the same old problems that 3.9 had with accessibility and instability and 30k problems? And do you think that the flight model changes might be terrible? Do you think we'll have a persistent swipe for 3.10? It doesn't look like they plan to have one at the moment, but that could change. Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you want to get involved in my channel giveaway as well, it's for a Prowler. It was given to me by Cloud Imperium. Thanks very much for that. All you got to do is comment on any of my videos made during June to be in for a chance of winning that. Also, lots of shill links down below. If you're looking for a VPN, NordVPN's there. Bam, click on that, use that. Discounts, boom, VPN, better than a free service. And also Shadow Gaming PCs for using the power of the internet and leveraging there, so they don't have to own your own gaming PC. You can just use a subscription service there, which could save you a lot of money. It means you don't have to maintain your own hardware. Boom.